Hello everybody, hello humanity. How are you all doing on your lockdown? To me it's a walk in the park, obviously, because I've been here, done it, got the sweatshirt, t-shirt, earrings. What else? Mouse mat. Don't really use mouses anymore, do we? Mice, mouses. What happens when you order mouse pads? Can I have lots of mice pads? Anyway, I'm digressing straight away. Hello and welcome to the Bedroom Guru. I've had lots of messages on here, but even more emails from people, because I'm doing an isolation guru, which is like a video live feed series on Facebook, and lots of people go, we're not on Facebook, we can't hear it, we don't know what you're doing, la, la, la. And with Facebook, once you put it on there, you can't really put it anywhere else. So I thought, do you know what, I would do it here. So this kind of video that I'm doing now more or less has got the same content as before in what I did for Facebook. So really it's just giving you a spiritual spin on what's happening at the moment. There's so many conspiracy theories out there, aren't there, and all this old pants, but I can only go with what I was told back in 2014 and, you know, try and give you some sort of sanity in all this complete madness. To be honest with you, I've got to say that I'm bloody loving it. One, because there's not shitloads of traffic everywhere polluting the planet, so it's getting a bit of a break. Two, everybody is so friendly and so supportive. You know, you used to see on, you know, local forums and stuff like that, people whinging and moaning about everything, and now it's, if I can help you, and if I can do this, and let's do this, and let's all stick together, and I'll come and get you food, and I'll come and do this, I'll come and do that, and it's all positive, you know, holding hands together as a community thing, which I think is fabulous. You know, even I had to go and post a letter, and then I took the dogs around the fields, and as I was walking along, I saw all neighbours just talking to each other. I've never ever seen it, right? But all neighbours were talking to each other, obviously with the relevant distance, over the fences and all the rest of it. It's just incredible. Everybody's talking, everybody's communicating. I got a letter from one of my best friends today, Lindsay. It's the most beautiful starfish, I might get it in a minute. And it was just like, because she's got time now, she's decided to write the old-fashioned way and send a letter in this beautiful card. And it's just, what a wonderful thing to do. Everybody's looking out for each other. What a massive switch to humankind that is, after only, you know, a week or two of this massive fear. Obviously, you've got the Muppets and the lower energies that are bulk buying and being absolutely pathetic and worrying about everything. And yeah, I can understand people worrying about their money, but everybody's in the same boat. I'm so lucky because I obviously work from home, and I've adapted from having to isolate for 5 years when I was in bed for 5 years. So for me, this is like no different, you know, it just feels like I've gone back in time for a little while and I've got to stay at home. The difference is now, you know, there's an awareness, especially for chronic illness sufferers. This is our life. When we've got a crash, and I've recently been in and out of hospital and been really, really poorly with a huge ME crash, and I haven't had one for a couple of years, to be honest with you. But, you know, lots of stuff happened, and when I get any stress or trauma, my body goes, just going to do that, love, can't be doing it. So I've been really poorly. And so, you know, I do all the things that I've taught myself to do throughout the day. You know, I've had a fantastic day today, doing the most wonderful things, craft stuff. I've found some masonry paint, painted all my fairies and angels, and I've just had a lovely jacuzzi bath with rose infused and lavender infused Epsom salts. I had my favourite music on. I've got my favourite holiday perfume on. It reminds me of holidays. And it's just, you know, just pottering around, being really kind to myself and gentle to myself, doing lovely things in the garden. It's looking beautiful out there. And it's just doing lovely things that make you feel good about yourself, you know. And that's lucky because I can move around a couple of times. I've been just in bed, not being able to move. And so for people like us, chronic illness sufferers, we find ways to cope, but nobody cares about us. Nobody ever cared about us. You know, as I said, I was 5 years in bed, not being able to go shopping, get out, do anything. So yeah, it's just a heads up really, and a word to the brave warriors of fibromyalgia, lupus, ME, MS, the people that are stuck indoors with chronic illness. God bless your hearts. And it's nice that humankind is seeing what our lives are like, because they've only got this for a few weeks, a couple of months at most. We've got it for life if we can't get better, you know. Yeah, anyway, get off my soapbox about that. What I shared with people on Facebook is what happened in 2014, and it's a bit of an epiphany really of what's happened now. Back in 2014, and it's another spoiler for my book, which weirdly enough, the publication date's changed to 27th of November, and I think that's absolutely bloody brilliant, because we're going to be coming out of this. Lots of people will have. I say brilliant, but it's not brilliant. You know, I'm not being disrespectful here to the people that have lost people, people that have died through this, people that are going to lose their businesses and things like that. I'm not being disrespectful. But all I'm saying is, when my book comes out, it is basically how to get yourself back from complete personal crisis, losing everything or illness, whatever it is, and how to get yourself back to happiness, personal contentment, abundance, and manifesting what you want. And so I think it's going to really help a lot of people. So anyway, going back, as I say, this is a spoiler for the book. This is in the book. Back in 2014, I was having a dream, and I was homeless at the time, and I was staying at my friend's house, and she used to have a habit of like hoovering about 7 in the morning. I'm not an early bird, just saying. I'm so not an early bird, I'm a night owl. But perhaps, you know, if I had a husband or was with someone that got up every morning, I most probably would, but I don't have to. So lovely. Plus, my little babies are lazy, my dog, so he needs to get up, do all my bloody admin in bed with a cup of tea. Lovely. Anyway, I had this dream, and my friend kept banging the bedroom door of the Hoover, and I woke up, and this dream was so magnificent, it was ridiculous. I was flying over Iraq at the time, and I could see that I was an angel in the silhouette, and it was such an amazing dream. It was so lucid and clear. I can't describe it. It was more than the 3D world we live in. It was just amazing, and I was so upset when I got woken up. And I thought, you know what, I'm awake, I might as well have a coffee with her before she goes to work. And then this voice said, no, go back to sleep. I'm like, oh my God. So I went back to sleep, woke up at half midday. And I know scientifically that we only dream in seconds, but I was taken through the whole of this story, and I woke up at like half midday. So I'm thinking, this is a channeling. This is something that they've brought to me. It's not a dream. It's information that either the angel realms, the spirit world, the universe, whatever you want to call it, have downloaded through me, okay? And so it was incredible. The basis of the story, and I don't feel it is a story now, I feel it's a prophecy, is that it starts off that God, whatever you want to call him, the omnipresence, whatever you want to, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to call the source, whatever your religion is, whatever your belief system is, whatever you want to call it, the source, right? But let's just, for argument's sake, call him God. I call him the omnipresence. And he was incredible. When he spoke to me, it wasn't like this white bearded geezer sitting on a phone, right? It was like a face, I can only describe it, but it was even more intense than this, as a hologram, right? And all of the face was created from things of the earth, like there were fish running through the chin area, and then there was a baby being born as part of the cheek, and the eyes were showing like the planet, and then the solar system, and then the sun, and then the stars. It just kept changing all the time. It was magnificent. And he basically said that there'd been a connection with the dimensions. I would assume other planets, I don't know. And anybody who's watches The Skeptic, I really don't give a shit, because it's what was shown to me, right? And I've written it, so I can prove it, because it was written like 6 years ago. So, and he said they'd had a meeting because Earth was in crisis, humanity was in crisis. They literally were on a really bad yin and yang. The balance of everything was completely out of sync. So we were abusing the planet, abusing each other, and it was at such a crisis level that everybody come together, because it was almost one of, let's, you know, do it in layman's terms, one of God's like pet planets. He loves it here for us to come down and learn and then go back home again to heaven. And so they said, look, you really need to do something to wake these people up, because if you don't, we should decimate it. That's why I honestly believe, and he showed me this, that back during, you know, they have the story of Noah's Ark, they did flood the planet, because again, humanity with free will took it forward, took the piss, and they thought, you know what, we need to start again, because this isn't going right? And that's exactly, I honestly believe that happened. What I was shown at the beginning, that like Neanderthals and how we came from animals was right, but then the Adam and the Eve, which I've seen in the halls of learning up in the Crystal Palace, which is heaven if you like, when I've asked about them, they said they were the first humans that had a soul brought to them, right? And they were the first ones that, because God had seen the like planet evolving, and he thought, right, I'm going to put a soul so that there is like a telephone connection, if you like, to the souls walking around, so they can connect in with us and they can make sure that they're learning their path. And I'm going to give them a consciousness, because if you think about it, beforehand it was just procreating, surviving, instinct, eating and dragging women by the hair and taking them into the cave to make sure that they've done the dusting. Right, so we've got souls in us, and so what happens with that is that we then lose our intuition, we then lose our ability to look out for ourselves, and we start pushing and pushing and pushing to find out more ways that we can evolve, you know, on a physical level. And this is what's happened, and this is what's happened now. We've evolved to a state of tyranny, power, you know, the politics of the world. Everything is just so wrong with the wars, you know, a little bit too little too late now with the plastic situation. Everything's just totally fucked, basically. Excuse my French if there's kids watching this with their mums and dads. She's got nothing better to do, and we've basically ruined everything, haven't we? And so this is what they're talking about, you know, this is what the omnipresence of God is talking about, what we're going to do with the planet. So he decides to make these happenings. Now, this isn't the full story. I've actually written the whole book, and it's as a fiction. It's called Earthwalkers, and I wish to God now that, well, I don't wish to God, because I can change it and make it non-fiction, you know, what heaven thinks of Earth rather than what we think of them. Because I stood in front of this power, and he showed me that he was going to do these happenings and bring it home so rawly to humankind. We don't learn unless it's a really harsh lesson, do we? Otherwise we just crack on again. And I desperately hope that we don't go back to normal after this absolute devastation has taken place with the coronavirus, right? So first of all, he showed me, and it's mind-blowing, because he showed me, first of all, we need to bring terrorism closer to home. So there's going to be a lot of terrorism that takes place. And then he said the one that will really touch the hearts is this one, right? And he showed me a scenario of a suicide bomber in an arena, in Wembley Arena though. It wasn't Manchester, but it was Wembley, right? And this is all in the book. And he said this will wake them up. They need, you know, literally there's children there. And people that, you know, are protective over their children, and then see them exposed to terrorism. That's going to really, you know, kind of make people aware. Plus it's going to bring people together. And look what happened with the celebrations afterwards. We won't be broken, you know, come and do what you need to do, we will stand together, okay? And so he told me about this. He then showed me the bombings that were going to take place in Paris, and that people were going to have like this syndicate of going around doing these random bombings, and that's what happened in London, in Paris, in all the different cities. Remember, this is 6 years ago, right? So I'm like, Jesus. So that was that. And so I started writing the book, and I actually finished book 1. Book 2, he showed me, because I had 4 books that I was going to write. Right, book 2 was about the planet and the animal kingdom and humankind, and it was trying to show them through the happenings what would happen if we didn't sort ourselves out and start loving and respecting ourselves, love thy neighbour and all that kind of stuff, right? But, you know, it wasn't like that. I know it's in the Bible, whatever, but that's neither here nor there. But it was about looking out for people again. The love of each other and the respect of humankind has gone, right? And so he said, in this position, we're going to create a viral, but he kind of perceived it as like the devil, if you like. Or Lucifer coming up to the planet and infiltrating the human beings that were negative, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the people that have died from this, you know, I don't want comments of people going, oh my God, you're saying all this, you're being disrespectful. I'm not, I'm telling you what I was told in 2014, what I've written books on, okay? That nobody even bloody cared. I sent them to loads of publishers, they're like, nah, it's shit. Done a bit of shit, but it's just not for us, you know, so they're still sitting there doing nothing, these books. And he basically showed me this kind of, if you just have to be touched, right, by one of these demons, if you like, you just have to be touched, and then you get this virus that is emanating from Lucifer, right? So remember, this is fiction, so I'm thinking, well, where's it going to come from? So I created in my imagination Lucifer coming up to the earth because of the amount of disease on the planet. He could rise because he was welcome, because there was so much shit going on that he was like quite welcoming. Do you know what I mean? There's a way he actually manifested up here, but I don't want to get too much into it. It would be for like 100,000 years. Mind you, it doesn't matter if I go on for a couple of hours, you've got nothing else to do with you. I've done all the box sets of you. Talk about that in a minute. So yeah, so this virus kind of thing goes around where all they have to do is just touch someone and then they're infected. So all these people are roaming around with these red eyes and all these veins sticking out everywhere, and they're all got this like deafness. And some of them that couldn't, and this is the freaky bit, some of them that couldn't handle the virus would drop down dead within 7 days, but others would carry on getting fueled by Lucifer's energy, because then it helped my book flow, because obviously, you know, if they all drop down dead, it's not going to do much, is it? And the whole planet would be decimated. But basically, he's basically having his legions go it to other people and then go to another country and do it to them. So basically he wants to take over the whole world with his soldiers that have got this virus thing. So there was that. Then there was a wake-up call for Animal Kingdom, and there were fires and tsunamis. And then what happens is that an elephant actually stands with a child on his head and looks up to someone from the UN in a tropical country and remains there, stuck there, whilst the tsunami goes back again, and he's still standing there looking up. And it was basically, and then all of the animals roar in unison or bark or whatever they do, and that the sound basically creates a massive sound wave throughout the planet, and everybody goes, Jesus, the animals are crying out for help, right? And that made me think of the bloody Australian fire, right? So I'm sitting here one day, a couple of weeks ago, before this all started, when it's just started kicking off, I'm like, hang on a minute, Jesus Christ, I've written prophecy. This wasn't write a fiction book, because he kept saying, right, the omnipresence, write it down. And I've written it as a fiction book, because I thought, well, that ain't going to happen. We ain't going to all get this virus, you know, just from touching someone. The animal, there's not going to be thousands of animals dying, you know, from somewhere through fires or through, you know, world disasters. That's not going to happen. There's no way a suicide bomber is going to get into an arena at a concert. Fuck me. So basically, what I can glean from this virus at the moment is, you know, it will go as quick as it's come. It's not going to be here forever, obviously. However, it is going to give humanity a wake-up call. And, you know, if you just listen how quiet it is, look. I live in an exceptionally quiet area anyway, because I live just across from a valley, which is like a conservation area and woodland, and then I've got the sea that side. So it's not too loud where I live. But when I sit, sometimes you can vaguely hear the traffic go up on the top road, but it's so quiet, isn't it? None of those fumes are being choked out as much as they should be. London and capital cities are quiet, not full of all of that, you know, fuel burning and choking out its carbon. And people, the consumption levels have gone down, apart from the Muppets who are like overbuying. They're the ones that got to learn from this. Do you know what I mean? And ordinarily, and I'm not being disrespectful to the lovely people that have worked hard for their businesses, but ordinarily the people that are so material obsessed, I've got to have this, got to buy that, got to do this, got to keep working, make more money, make more debt, make more debt, you know. This could create, and it did for me, I wasn't like that anyway, but when I lost all my money after my accident and lost absolutely everything, my home, everything, I didn't care about material things anymore. And to be honest with you, when all the debt was cleared, I felt like a new person. I felt like, right, I've got to start respecting money. I've got to start respecting the fact that health and happiness, self-love is more important than getting a nice car. Do you know what I mean? Having a flash holiday. I need to be in a good space myself that I can then manifest this abundance around me, because I believe I deserve it now. You know, you can't buy love. There's these people, got to buy this, got to have that house, got to do this, got to have that. And then they're in like 60, 70, 80 grand's worth of debt, some even in 200 grand's worth of debt. Why are you working yourself, your arse off to pay for this debt? Yes, Teddy. Well done. You've just gone right in the way of my film. Come here. You know, so these people are now going into meltdown, aren't they? Because, you know, they can't deal with their debt. So they're going into complete meltdown. And do you know what? For people like that, perhaps this will do you good. Because if you do suffer, and I really hope you don't, but if you do suffer, and some of you may have to go into bankruptcy, I don't know. I desperately hope the government kick in before then. But it will just change your life around. Yes, it will be hard and it will be devastating. I don't think we're going to be losing houses. You know, lots of people doing mortgage holidays and things like that. But it just might make you realise how much of a slave that you have been working. It might just make you realise when you're sitting at home because you can't go and work, that, you know, you think, Jesus, I'm really enjoying company with the kids. I know you're not going to say that until 3 weeks' time. You're going to be like, oh my God, kill me now, right? But all I'm saying is that, you know, you're perhaps going to think, do you know what, I'm really enjoying this. I'm having quality time with my children. I'm having quality time with my mum and dad. You know, if you're with your older parents, or, you know, there's teenagers watching this, or, you know, I'm really, and do you know what the other epiphany is that you could be thinking, my God, you know, I love spending time with my wife, my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, or you could be thinking, I've got to change this. This isn't right, because now I'm actually here without any distractions. I'm realising my life isn't right. I need to change it. So I'm trying to, you know, so many people, because we're all phoning each other now, aren't we? And we're all doing FaceTime now. Why don't we do that normally? Because normally it's just a quick text, I'll get on because I've got to do something. We're taking time to speak with each other now. I'm hardly ever off the phone now. It's ridiculous, right? Which is another positive thing. And so the only way to deal with something like this is, you know, some people, oh God, I'm worried I'm going to die, I'm worried I'm going to get it, or what's going to happen. I'm high risk because I've got ME, right? And so they've sent a thing out today saying you're high risk, you've got to stay, and do you know what? If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not stressing about that. I'm trying to draw on the positives. There's nothing we can do about this. Absolutely nothing, right? And again, I have to reiterate, I am not being disrespectful to people who are ill or have died, or people who are going through watching, you know, not being able to be with their loved ones while they're put in hospital, right? I'm not taking that away. I do a prayer every night for them. I do everything I possibly can. But what I will say is that there are so many positives to come out of this, okay? You're going to be spending time with your children, and you're going to be schooling them, and then you can see for yourself how well they're doing and how bright they are, or what they're struggling in, because rather than quickly nip down for a 5-minute, you know, parent evening when you've got time after work and getting your nails done. Do you know what I mean? I'm just checking the time. Oh, got ages, because obviously we've got to do a round of applause today for the beautiful NHS people that, again, I send a massive prayer out to. One of my close friends is a nurse, and my God, what she's having to go through. God bless her beautiful heart. Anyway, swiftly moving on. So we need to look at the good part of this. How many of you have been stressed for a couple of years because you think, Christ, I've got to do that door, I haven't got time, I've got to get that room cleared, I've got to get that painted, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and then suddenly, you know, I know that you're always really stressed because you can't work or you're losing money, but just make the most of it, right? The government, I reckon, will help us. So, right, I'm going to get that back room cleared. You'll feel so much better for it. You'll feel so much better for decluttering things. I'm looking at my home and I've moved a few pictures about, got rid of a few bits. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. It's just, I'm loving it because I've decluttered and done things that I keep looking at, and I think, oh, it's really pissing me off, you know, and they're done. Kitchen's completely finished. It's fabulous, you know. So there's bits and pieces like that, again, because you don't realise how much stress you put on yourself, whether it is looking at a room that really pisses you off when you go in there because it looks like a jumble sale crossed with a tsunami, right? Or you go out in the garden, you think, oh my God, look all those weeds. Go and bloody weed it then. Get that exercise in. Go and weed the garden. And then you can sit back, because I don't know about you, I've got a bit of a colour today. I know I haven't got any makeup on. Oh, I just looked. I know I haven't got any makeup on, but I've got a bit of colour because I've been out there. I've very gently just, you know, gone over, taken a few bits out, put them in a basket, and I've looked, I thought, it looks bloody lovely out here. Do you know what I mean? And I've just ordered a beautiful patio set that I can lay down in, and it's lovely. It's a bit posh, but I thought, no, sod it, I'm going to do it. You know, I've saved my money up for holidays, and I'm thinking, no, well, if I can't go on holiday, I'll get a patio set. I don't know when it's going to be delivered. It must be delivered in September, but you know. And so I think, no, if we've got good weather, I'm going to bloody sit out there. And because of the fact it's so posh, I think that even if it's pissing down, I'm going to be out there. Sit there like that going, I'm using this, I'm using it. It's waterproof, it's waterproof. And so it's finding positives to do. That is why I've started to do the videos on Facebook, and I will start doing them here as well for you so you don't miss out, right? Because when we go into isolation, we do melt down. You are going to get the ump with your kids. You're going to get the ump with your other half. You're going to get the ump with whoever you're living with. I'm so lucky because I'm on my own. So it's great. I can't get the ump with anybody. And so I can do whatever I want. You know, I just choose to do things that make me smile and make me feel really happy. And as I say, everything today, what would I like to do? Not what should I do? And I sat down and just had a lovely bath. And I thought, you know what? have a nice little chat with everybody to try and keep them going, to try and help you to see the positives in this. Because, as I said, there's a couple of people that spoke to me, oh, weren't you worried about it? Oh, it's gone up to this amount. And I'm like, no, I don't watch the news. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in it. All I've been told, obviously, today is from the doctors that I'm high risk and and I'm like, right, well, it doesn't make any difference because I'm still indoors. I still, stay away from any human being when I take the dogs out. It's absolutely fine. I've got the best neighbours in the world, so I don't have to go up to the shops. They're absolutely amazing. And, I couldn't be luckier because I've manifested my abundance. I've manifested it. Obviously, I've ballsed up in a few areas of my life, men, but apart from that, everything else is bloody amazing. So so I've got everything I need, and it's given me time to start writing to perfect book 2. That's all about grieving and about the spirit world and about heaven and how you can maintain a beautiful relationship with your loved ones. And there's true stories at the end of it of people that have, were skeptical and then have got this wonderful relationship with people who've passed over. That book's just about to be done, and then I'm starting on a 3rd book. And that's coming together nicely as well now. So it's finding positive things to do, including the fact that, look, it's just so quiet out there. All I can hear are the seagulls. And there was a sparrowhawk in my garden again yesterday, obviously because it was my sister's birthday, if you know about my sparrowhawk phenomena from my dad. And it's just the sun setting, and it's so peaceful and quiet, And when I look over, because I'm a bit of a nosy neighbour, it's only because I'm higher up in the hill, and I look down, and I shouldn't say this because someone might watch it, you live down my road. But you're seeing people talking with each other, because some of their lounges back onto me. And it's only one little row. It's not as if I've got a load of houses here, because then it's all fields after that. But it's, you see them talking, whereas normally, not that I sit there, oh my God, I'm just so digging myself. Oh, just keep digging, Nicky. Just keep digging deeper. Right, but normally you see them, they're just sitting there watching the telly, or one's in there and obviously someone else in the back room, but you can actually see people communicating, talking. And even when I was walking past people and we crossed the road, when I was coming back from the lakes, right, across the road, and they even, hello, and everybody's giving this, hello, yeah, it's shit, but don't worry, keep going, everybody's got a smile on their face. When before this, people even wouldn't look at me. They just wouldn't even say anything because they're too busy in their own little bloody world. But now it's suddenly everybody's reaching out to everybody, and that is part of what's going to happen. It's happening all over the world. So humanity is starting to lift this imbalance. It's starting to lift this imbalance so that we're starting to learn to look out for each other, take more time for the people we love, take more time for the people we don't love or don't even know. Take time to help strangers, right? And whether you believe this or not, even the most tiniest of intentions will send a frequency of love, compassion, and a bit of humility back out there that we've so been missing out on. And as I say, the only thing that I pray for is that we maintain this after all of this ends. That we don't go back to being arsehole selfish people. I'm not saying we're all arseholes and selfish. What I'm saying is that, you see it so many times on things like YouTube and Facebook and that, where, perhaps someone's collapsed on the floor. My friend Lindsay fell over the other day, and people just walk past her, and people just leave people on the floor. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Whereas now, people would help, obviously from social distancing, pick you up with a rope, prop you up with a barge pole. But do you know what I mean? I feel so happy in this energy, and it sounds awful me saying that, but I can see the positives of what is happening with the planet and with humanity and with love. Without love, we're absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. We've got to have love to keep going. Love connects us to other frequencies. Love connects to the spirit world, to the angel realm. Self-love allows us to have an abundant and beautiful life where everything comes as it should. We have to learn some tough lessons, but generally our life is magnificent. And we have to love each other. We have to love our strangers, even if we don't know them. We have to love the community we live in and respect that. We have to love our family members, our friends, or whatever. But isn't it nice, though, that now you're getting thought time, the clarity starts to kick in, where you think, do you know what? I don't really miss that person, so I'm not really going to make much of an effort after this, because, you know, they didn't do this for me, or I did that, and sometimes I feel down if I'm seeing them. And you can start making decisions for people perhaps you don't want in your life as well as the people that you do want in your life. And then perhaps if you are, you know, separated from your family at the moment, then you'll appreciate how amazing they really are, because you can't physically see them. You know, you can't physically just pop in for 10 minutes and then like make an excuse that you're busy and you have to leave because you don't want to sit there listening to your mum going on. Do you know what I mean? You start realising and appreciating the people around you that are supposed to support you and love you. And I think that's a really positive thing. You know, all I can see is just laughter, friendliness, people helping, people willing to give up their time to help other people, even if they're exposing themselves to the coronavirus. You know, and I think about the NHS, I think about the police, I think about paramedics. And I was on the beach the other day and there was these paramedics that went for a coffee. It was just before the lockdown. So there was still one of the beach shops was open serving coffee. And I went up to them, I said, sorry, I just want to say thank you. And they said, what for? So I said, just thank you for being you and putting yourself in danger to help other people. I said, you know, I said jokingly, you've earned your place in heaven. And they went, oh, thank God for that. But it was just saying thank you and showing respect and showing gratitude to the people that always put themselves on the line every single day. And yes, I did it for 20 years. So yeah, I'm a bit of a hero as well. I'm joking. But I think, thank Christ, I'm not in the police now. God, it must be a nightmare, God bless them, because they haven't got masks on. They've still got to deal with the same dross that no doubt are not going to do anything. You know, the lower energies, the younger souls on this planet, they've still got to be exposed to it. And, you know, possibly they might not even be able to see their families. Look at the videos of doctors that are selflessly staying away from their families so they can protect their families. And they're just dedicating their life at the moment to helping people in the hospital, strangers, people that mean nothing to them. They're sacrificing that. You know, and when do you ever hear that? You hear the odd hero story, don't you? And as I say, you know, we're going to be doing today, they've come up with us going out of our front doors and doing applause for the NHS. And look, what sort of vibration is that going to send through the planet? Oh my God, it's just going to send such love. And it must make me cry, because I will be seeing the ramifications of that applause. Everybody clapping and cheering and whistling, reverberating throughout the whole of the country. How amazing is that going to be? How much vibrancy is that going to bring to the planet and humankind? You know, because the happier we are, the more love that fills us, the more we start thinking about things, the more we think about, do you know what? You know, I'm going to pick up the rubbish now and I noticed that. Oh my God, that's another thing I noticed on the beach, right? Every single day that I go down the beach, I pick sea glass, because I've got a thing about sea glass, and I'm just currently creating a little flower bed, and I put loads of shells in it. It's lush. And so I do so I've got that. I've got 3 bags. I look like a right bag lady, right? So I've got my poo bag, I've got my shells and sea glass bag, and my plastics bag, right? And I do it every single time. If there's any plastic or any rubbish on the beach, I put that in. And I was even noticing that. And I'm normally the only person doing it. You might see the odd one picking rubbish up, but there were loads of people doing it, right? I was down at Elbury Cove before all the lockdown and everything, and there were people picking up rubbish, you know, like stuff that would come off old boats and bits of rope, and people were doing it. They were being consciously kind to the planet. And I don't think they realised they did it, but I think if you're in a good mood, right, it's like if you go past a homeless person, if you're in a good mood, you go, oh, well, there you go, there's a pound, or, there's a portion of chips. If we're miserable and stressed and tunnel visioned on our material life, we don't have time to be kind to ourselves, to our loved ones, and to strangers. We don't. We've lost that because we're too bloody busy. We're too busy to sit and read a story to our kids. We're too busy to deal with the homework. Look, just go and Google it. Times I've heard that. Go and Google it. I don't know. Right? And, you know, it's like my sister. She's doing brilliant things. She's running a little tuck shop in the house, and they can only spend £1 a day on snacks, which it helps with, obviously, you know, with rations for the kids and their sweets. And she's doing lessons with them, and then they're having playtime out in the garden, and it's just quality time. You know, it's quality time. And I really, so try and change your mindset, okay? Yes, it is absolutely terrifying. Yes, if you are reliant on working and you can't, it is so stressful for you. I can't take that away from you, but it's a fact, it's happening. And are you going to sit and worry and sit in the energy and make yourself ill and perhaps even more vulnerable to this? Are you going to look at the positives and think, right, what I'm at the moment. So is everybody else on the planet. So it's not as if, you know, they're going to say to me, well, you didn't pay your mortgage. Everybody's in the same boat. So what am I going to do to make this work? What am I going to do to make my time, my valuable time, productive? Write a list of the to-dos, you know. Oh, I'm going to get that done. The sense of achievement is overwhelming. You know, the sense of achievement is overwhelming. And it's just, I don't know, it's just little things. I appreciate the most tiniest things in life, you know. And it's like, I've got a friend that come over and said, you know, you're saying about your house being painted. It's done. It looks beautiful. And I just sat outside today looking at my house. And like, you know, my neighbour was saying, you're right. And I'm just so happy that someone was so kind enough to come and give their time and do this for me. And he goes, it looks lovely, actually. I'm like, I know, I'm really, really happy. You know, and like, some people are happy just because you got your house painted, or it's just a job that's done. No, it's not. Appreciate it. You know, appreciate these things. Get the gratitude back in. You know, get the humility back into your life. Take time to be happy and send love to yourself and everybody else. So that's what I was going to do I was going to do a video about self-love on Facebook. So if you can come over there, please do. But what I'll do is I will do videos on here as well, just to keep you going. As I said, with my 5 years in isolation, with just me in my bed, hence the title, Emmy, myself and I, just another plug, just saying. I think I'm pretty much an expert on it, on how to deal with it, because to begin with, you're going to be sitting there, feet up, Netflixing it, you know, to an inch of your life, thinking, this is bloody great, I'm loving this, especially if you're getting paid to be at home. You're like, oh my God, I'm loving this. Then the wife has said, go and do these chores. You're like, oh, for Christ's sake, well, I suppose I better do that. And then the wife is then having to do the washing, and then you're going to start seeing how much she works, how hard she works. Perhaps you might change the dynamics of your home by saying, do you know what, you do a lot, don't you? Let's swap this over, you know, kind of things like that. Dynamics will change in the home. But after you've kind of settled down into a routine, whether it's changed or not, you'll start getting into your head. Right, I absolutely categorically am telling you, this carries on for a few weeks and you've got nowhere to go apart from your house. Your head will start, the monkey brain will start. And the monkey brain is a brilliant little bugger because it really loves stressing you out. So I keep moving this, but I've got to sore back, so I've got to keep moving my position. So the monkey brain will start coming in. Wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if you are going to lose work. What are you doing then? You're just going to spend your whole life doing that job? Cause it's a shit job, really. You don't really like it. You're loving being at home. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? God, she's driving you crazy, isn't she? And it just will keep going and going and going and going. So this is a perfect time to have a look at yourself, have a look at what you want to do for the future, embrace your present, let go of the past, have a look at if there's anything that, you know, creates issues for you in the past, you know, because a lot of people have had that. I've had it certainly and worked on that during my 5 years. And if we do look at ourselves and address anything that we want to change in ourselves, as well as, you know, with each other, we could come out of this a lot better breed of people. We really could. And if we then continue what we've learned from being isolated, especially if you're on your own, right? Perhaps it's not so bad if you've got kids and, you know, you're being kept busy with them, so they're driving you up the wall and everything else. But, you know, I suppose this part of the video is aimed at people that are on their own, that are completely alone in their house, and you've got nothing but time on your hands, you know, especially if you are, you know, chronically ill, you've got nobody coming in to help you, or you've got an illness that stops you from getting out, or you're disabled. Again, monkey brain is going to start in it because you get bored. You've watched everything on the telly, you've done everything you can, or you're too exhausted. You know, I've had a few days where I haven't been able to do anything because I've been too exhausted, so I've just been in bed. But then I go, yes, what am I going to do? Rather than, for God's sake, I'm here again, I can't stand it. I know this will pass. I know it's because I've had stress and upset, my body doesn't like it, it crashes, and it'll get better and I'll be absolutely fine again. But, you know, you've got to change your mindset and start looking at working what I call shadow work as well. So you might want to look at things you don't like about your life, what you don't like about yourself. Perhaps there's stuff that keeps coming back. Perhaps there's behavioural patterns that keep sabotaging things in your life. Perhaps you're self-sabotaging. All shadow work, that's called. When you're looking at your weaknesses, looking at yourself, thinking, what can I change? Because this is the time to do it, guys. This is so the time to do it. This is a time to create a sanctuary where you live. You know, relate to your family and the people you love, who you're with, or look at yourself and find out ways of how you can improve your happiness, ways to improve your life. What plans are you going to do once this is ended? You know, have a look at yourself. Don't be scared to do it. And it isn't bollocks as well, because I can feel some of you watching this will be like, oh, she's airy fairy crap. It's not, because I've been there and done it. Right, and they put me through the worst spirit boot camp of my life. Every single thing that I've been exposed to, you know, abuse and God knows what, all came up, and they forced me to endure it like it was happening again, to get rid of all of this shadow stuff that was going on. Best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. The only thing that I might have to balance now is because I work in truth and transparency, hence I'm sitting here in my PJs and I really don't care without any makeup on, right? And I'm a truth seeker, and the problem is that gets me into trouble, because I hate liars. I hate people that lie and manipulate people. So I want to get everybody to know the truth, and that sometimes comes back and smacks me in the arse, because nobody wants to see the truth, because they're so far down in their awareness of their life and who they are, that they're in denial of their reality, of their presence, and so they don't want to know the truth. So I've got to be a bit more leave it to you then, and not try and help people to see the truths in things, if that makes sense. You know, I can't abide liars, manipulators and people that hurt people for their own gain. And when I try and expose that, it goes wrong, because obviously the people they mix with are just doing that low energy as much as they are, all living this fake life. And so I'm going to stop doing that. I think it's a sense of justice that I get as being one of Virgo, because we're healers and we're natural people that want to do that. Empaths, we want to help people as well, to help themselves. The fact that I was a copper, I wanted to help people. I've just got it in my blood that I want to help people. Why do you think I'm sitting here doing this now? Because I really hope that some people that are sitting there and they're going out of their head, or they're getting a bit depressed, or they're stressed, or they're upset because people are ill, or they're isolated, or they're worried about money, whatever it is, I just want to be that little extra holding hand to show you that, yes, I believe this was supposed to happen. I believe it's a spiritual happening, to wake us up. And if you look at how humanity are changing, then you've got to agree with me, there is a positivity coming out of this. You know, and as I said earlier, I keep envisaging the fact that the planet's going, because there's not all these bloody cars everywhere. You know, there's not all these exhaust fumes killing it, so it's having a breath of fresh air. Do you know what I mean? I think that's amazing. Just love it. So I could go on and on, but you must be really bored by now. I'm gonna share this over Facebook and everything as well. It's pretty much what I've already said, to be fair, just in case anybody missed it, I suppose. But if there's anything that you would like to learn or be taught while we're all sitting here waiting for this to pass, then please just send me a message. Email me at nickyallen333@gmail.com. Nearly forgot it then. Crap at marketing myself. And perhaps I might do a bit of card work. Whatever, I'll just see what comes up when I'm doing it. I'm not going to put myself under any pressure, because I've got to watch my boundaries with my energy. But I'll do whatever I can to help you. Keep the faith. Seriously think about doing mindfulness exercises. There's so many on YouTube. So I do sleep hypnosis, you know, just have that playing as I fall asleep while I'm asleep. There's meditations you can do. Meditation's a perfect way for you to start seeing where you're at, how you're feeling about things, you know. Perhaps I'll do a guided meditation as well. So with that, darling, stay safe, okay? Don't panic. There is nothing that's going to take you any further forward by worrying, apart from just stress you out and make you ill, okay? So don't stress. Just what will be will be. Just take each day as it comes. Do everything you can that's going to make you feel happy and positive. And be kind to yourself and everybody else around you, okay? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll speak to you very soon. Hang on in there, stay safe, and if you're strong and you're happy, go out there and help the community. Come and help people like me that are not allowed out. Get their shopping for them and dump it like 50 foot away from their front door and run. But anyway, do what you can to help each other, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. God bless you all. Stay strong and stay happy. All right then, bye now.